What words of wisdom have always stuck with you? The grass is greener where you take care of it. If you punish them for telling the truth, you teach them to lie. 1. Have a plan. 2. Don't deviate from the plan. 3. If you deviate from the plan, don't get caught. 4. If you get caught, own up to it. Comparison is the thief of joy. I think about it usually once per day and remind myself to judge my life against my past and only look forward. You can be the ripest, yummiest, juiciest peach, and there will still be people in the world who don't like peaches. Or you can be the grossest, most rotten peach ever, and there will always be a sicko who's into that. Your wound is probably not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Further to this, if you don't heal your wounds, you're going to bleed on people who didn't cut you. Afterwards, your scars aren't proof that you're broken, they're proof that you've healed. If they gossip with you, they'll gossip about you. Let them gossip, life is too short to waste on worrying about stupid shit. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. I've always liked the adage, the difference between a master and a novice is that the master has failed more times than the novice has even tried. If you're going to eat shit, don't nibble it. As an introvert, I sometimes agree to do things with friends, but then dread actually doing it when the event comes up. This saying helps me realize once I commit to something I should embrace the experience 100% without thinking of backing out. Because of this thought process, I have had some great experiences I would have otherwise bailed on. I've heard, if your job is to eat a frog, best to get it over with first thing in the morning. And if your job is to eat 2 frogs, eat the bigger one first. People are not against you, they are for themselves. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. Just because we don't have anything important to talk about, doesn't mean the time we spend together isn't meaningful. I found this out when I came home from college to hang out with my brother. We wanted to make up for lost time and spend every minute together, but we ran out of things to talk about pretty quickly. It turns out, walking down the street and catching Pokemon is just as fulfilling as having a deep conversation. All that matters was that we were spending time with one another. My father's lesson to me about personal finance when I was in my early teens: if your outgo is more than your income, then your upkeep will be your downfall. My therapist regarding my confusion about my ex's behavior: stop trying to make sense of something that will never make sense. From a guy in a class that never said a word when asked why he never talked, I find that I'll learn very little when I'm the one talking. Keep it simple, stupid. Great advice. Hurts my feelings every time. Don't be an idiot. Changed my life. Every time I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Becoming your own devil's advocate is the most important thing for your own intellectual development. If it smells like shit everywhere you go, check your shoes. The difference between expectations and reality is disappointment, and sometime annoyance/anger.
Reality is often disappointing.
A job worth doing is a job worth doing right. And that goes with, if you're going to do something, do it right the first time, so you don't have to go back and do it again. If you don't have time to do it properly, when are you going to have time to do it twice? Don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. Stop talking about the thing and just do the thing. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. The most important relationship you have is your relationship with yourself. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide.
All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is
If you are one to feel self-conscious or have mild social anxiety, it can be helpful to remember that no one is really paying as much attention to you as you think. If you're not learning, you're fucked. Said to me by a coworker when I confided that I felt like I still had so much to learn, and he reminded me that everyone in the company was still learning something. A day where you don't learn something new is a day wasted. Worrying is a lot like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but doesn't get you anywhere. It is better to remain silent and be presumed a fool than to speak up and remove all doubt. Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. You are who you hang out with. Basically, be careful who you become friends with. Just because someone is nice to you and wants to be your friend doesn't always mean they are worthy of friendship. There is such a thing as people that are a bad influence. Particularly if you are a very trusting and optimistic person. This is even more important. I have one friend in particular that has royally fucked up her life because she started hanging out with sketchy people and eventually developed their bad habits. My dad always said, if you hang around with shit you're going to start to smell like shit. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. If you have a problem that can be fixed, there is no use in worrying. If you have a problem that cannot be fixed, there is no use in worrying. The world is a comedy to those that think, a tragedy to those that feel. We suffer more from imagination than from reality. It's silly to try to escape other people's thoughts. They are inescapable. Just try to escape your own. Wear sunscreen. My therapist told me, we hate in others what we see in ourselves. And it's really pushed me to fix a lot of issues I have with my anger, jealousy, and just made me a better person altogether. Still living and learning though. Don't try to change people, try to understand them. Always undersell and overdeliver. Never throw the first punch, but feel free to throw the rest of them. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Along the same lines, procrastination is like masturbation. Feels good, but you're just fucking yourself. Crocodiles are easy. They try to kill and eat you. People are harder. Sometimes they pretend to be your friend first. Do no harm, but take no shit. And, not my circus, not my monkeys. If you worry about not being a good person, remember that bad people don't care if they're a good person or not. This saved my life. Never attribute to malice that which you can to stupidity or busyness. If you find yourself playing poker with a group of strangers and you can't tell who the sucker is, it's you. When someone tells you what kind of person they are, believe them. Don't believe everything you think. At the root of all anger is a violated expectation. The truest test of character is not what someone does when others are watching, it's what they do when others are not. A lot of car crashes are caused because someone tried to save 4 seconds. The only time you look in your neighbor's bowl is to make sure that they have enough. You don't look in your neighbor's bowl to see if you have as much as them. Remember always that you're expendable. That's not pessimism, it's how to get ahead. People tend to get complacent when they do well and think that the world owes them something. Fight like you've got nothing to lose and you'll win a lot more. It's a lot better to say, oh well, instead of, what if, when it comes to any opportunity in life. If possible, before making any major decision, jack off. This, friends, is known as post-nut clarity. Don't ever stick your dick in crazy. Don't ever threaten to leave unless you already have your bags packed. Everyone you meet carries a heavy burden. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. It's a useful axiom for getting nuts off or tightening/loosening plumbing parts. Everybody gets a natural 20 sometime. Relic of tabletop dice games. Life is largely a roll of the dice for every situation. If things are easy street, don't take it for granted. You have some low rolls coming. If stuff seems to suck, remember that the game will continue, like it or not, and that everyone, sooner or later, throws a natural 20. You will too. Keep throwing. Being a dick isn't gonna make yours longer. If you are about to have sex with a girl for the first time and she tells you that you won't need a condom, then you really need a condom. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Once you are a parent, you are never ever again not a parent. Early is on time is late, and late is completely unacceptable. Make choices you can live with. Be the person you needed when you were a kid. Quit complaining and start working. Don't stress out too much about the things you can't control. It is better to be alone than in bad company. Stupid remember, smart write it down. What if the person you became met the person you could have become? Just a good reminder to be the best you.